What's up, you guys? Welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yuri Choi. I haven't been here in a little bit, so it is so great to reconnect. I'm actually connecting with you guys from Bali, Indonesia. And today, what I have prepared for you is 10 things to let go of to access more peace and natural magnetism in your life and just in your being in general. And before we begin, I want to let you know I'm a performance coach. I work with typically CEOs, entrepreneurs, and high achievers who are looking to access more peace, more flow, more fulfillment in their lives, which leads to more results, more abundance, and creating a life that they get to, they get to love. So I'm really excited to go into this. My intention is that you guys take away 10 powerful key points that you can start to access and, really apply into your practical life right away today. And this is going to massively start to shift how you get to feel on a day to day and hopefully the long term too. So let's get right into it. It's so good to be here with you guys. It's been a minute. So let's see here. So let's start with number one. Number one is letting go of your need to win and really choosing to become better than yourself from yesterday. Give it all you've got and really focus on winning based on what you were yesterday rather than trying to win over other people. So there's this concept that I learned. I'll go over some of the other stuff later on, but there's a concept I learned when I was doing yoga teacher training a long time ago. And that was to let go of JEC. And I think I actually have a video about this here. JEC is judgment, expectation, and competition. And this really hit home for me because one of the, core teachings that I do is for people to access living in an abundant world. And if you want to truly access living in an abundant reality, you get to know that there's no true competition because there's enough to go around for everybody. And so we get to actually focus on being collaborative rather than feeling like we have to win, because trying to win at something actually means that there's going to be losers. And when in fact we can actually be creating win-win situations everywhere we go, where everybody wins at all times. And that is really the goal of this type of work, which is that we get to actually create an abundant reality by choosing into knowing that we can access that at any time. Number two, letting go of your need to feel superior. Again, what does that mean? If you need to feel superior than somebody else, that actually means that somebody has to feel inferior. And that's not very empowering. If your desire is for you to feel empowered genuinely, you get to know that that's only going to happen at best when everybody around you feels empowered as well. So if you choose to feel superior than somebody else, then you're actually putting this hierarchy around people. And people are actually just people. Everyone is equal. There is no hierarchy. Everyone is playing at an equal, playing field. And if you think about where this comes from, when you think about, your need to feel superior, it comes from a place of judgment. So if you can let go of wanting to feel superior, you can actually start to feel more free. You can feel more peace in your body. And maybe that's something that you can think about right now. Is there anywhere in your life, whether work, whether celebrities even, or family, is there anywhere in your life where you either put somebody on a pedestal or you want to feel superior than somebody else? And where does that actually come from? And if that wasn't there, what could open up for you? Number three, let go of your need to control things that you have no control over and learning to surrender. I know this is so much easier said than done sometimes, but what if it does get to be easy? A lot of things we think are not easy, they actually can be easier than you think. Think about something that you feel like you have to control with a, sense of tightness. And this comes from kind of like that constrictive feeling in your body. Whenever we're actually trying to exert control, that typically is contracting our body. It goes, it puts our body into that contractive mode. What would it feel like right now to tap into that place where you just get to feel just a little bit more at ease? What could open up for you? What could that feel like? Really feel into that for a moment. Take a deep inhale if you can. Exhale and notice how that feels. What can you surrender right now that you didn't think could be surrendered just a moment ago? And if you're able to really tap into that, what could open up for you? The next one, number 4, can you let go of your need to constantly have more and practice being so deeply grateful for everything that you have right now in your life? In this world that we live in, oftentimes it's so easy to get into the cycle of what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And by the way, that is actually powerful too when that is accessed at the right time. For example, I was just talking to one of my clients the other day, and I really helped him access his desires because his desires are actually powerful. They kind of point towards what it is that you get to step into, what it is that you're pulled to. And sometimes, a lot of times, that is your soul telling you, hey, there's something there, whether it's like that direct thing that's right in front of you, or maybe the pathway to get there or go through that desire is going to lead you to that one thing that you actually do want in the long term, or your soul's purpose or whatever. So identifying and following the desire is powerful. And the moment that you discovered what that is, we also get to simultaneously detach and not attach to your desires, but detach and gently follow the desires, but be able to detach and say, okay, now I know which way to head. And I'm also detached from what that has to look like and really surrendering to the path. Now let's go to number 5. Can you let go of your need to identify as your achievement? You're not just a sum of all your achievements. You're not just a sum of all your educational degrees. You're not just a sum of all the trophies and awards that you've won. You're so much more than that. You're a soul on a mission, living and, floating through space on this giant rock called the Earth. And you have all these adventures to go through, all the people that you get to meet. And there's just so much more that's available for you. Degrees. You're not just a sum of, and what would that look like? What would that feel like for you to truly access that? Number 6, can you let go of your need to project a certain image to other people and focus on how you want to view yourself for you? Nowadays we live in such a social media driven world. I mean, I'm on YouTube right now. This might get onto Instagram and Facebook, all the things. And it's such a powerful tool. And I'm so deeply grateful for it. And for a lot of people, it's created this opportunity to stay in this dissonance of who you project yourself to be and who you really are. There's literally people, trying everything they can to close that gap, to feel more authentic on camera or whatever. And I think that's a little bizarre because, it's so weird that when we are in front of a camera or when we have this platform, there's a part of it that wants to show up differently. And I certainly have experienced that too. I think that gap has closed down a lot over the years as I got really comfortable and just, talking on camera and whatnot. And it's created a massive dissonance from what we project ourselves to be and who we really are. And to be honest, the biggest cost of that is not even the people outside, but it's you. It's you who's doing that, because then you start to get lost in who you really are. So, whether it's social media or something else, can you let go of your need to project a certain image to other people? Because at the end of the day, that's something that you don't have control over. You can't control how people view you. Yes, of course, you can manage your reputation to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, focusing on that too much is actually going to be unfulfilling. It's going to create fear because at the end of the day, you're trying to control what's not controllable. So, what would it feel like for you to bring that power back to you and say, I am choosing to be who I feel good about today? No matter how other people view me, I'm committed to being the type of person that I feel good about waking up to and going to bed. Today I had a coaching call where one of my clients told me that he feels like he has a spiritual spine now. And what that really means is he is sure of who he is. He felt like a bamboo stick, he said. So he said, I feel like there's strength within my core that wasn't there before. Because as he really learned who he is and he got to feel really congruent to that and stick to that, he started to let go. He started to shed all these layers where he used to people please, where he used to worry about what other people are thinking about him because he was so focused on just being who he wants to be, who he would feel happy about. And that goes back to, really operating on this, excuse me, on this, sense of integrity, knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing your values. It goes back to all of that. So if you can focus on that, you're going to start to feel at more peace. And the reason I said this whole video is about natural magnetism is because the more that you can detach from the external world, the external validation of what it has to look like from the outside, instead you focus on what it has to look like inside for you, that is actually very magnetizing because people can sense that you know who you are. And that's very attractive. You don't have to worry about what other people are thinking. You can just focus on who you want to be. This goes to number 7. It's kind of all blended together. Can you let go of your need for validation? Learning to validate and acknowledge yourself and taking your power back. Ooh, this was a practice for me for a while, because I did grow up in a very achievement-oriented world where I felt like, a lot of the things I did, I felt really good after the validation of getting the reward, getting the award, getting recognized. Tony Robbins talks about this. There's actually 6 human needs. So there's certainty, uncertainty, there's significance, there's love and connection, growth and contribution. And typically people are driven by the top 2 factors. And, at the time, when we're driven by validation, we're often driven by the factor of significance. So if we can let go of that, other things open up, other drivers can open up, other higher level spiritual need or drivers can open up, such as growth or contribution, contributing back to the society. And when you can start to feel so good in that, there's something that happens that starts to feel like you have unlimited power, unlimited energy, because you're no longer getting the energy from the outside world where you don't have control over. Rather, you're sourcing that energy from within, as well as maybe something even higher. Your higher self, your future self, your idea of God, your idea of, higher being or whatever it is, you can actually connect to that. And that's where you can access that higher level of energy and just unlimited resources and so on. So try that on if you'd like. Number 8, can you let go of the need to be right? So I know we talked about the letting go of the need to win. And then now talking about letting go of the need to be right. Honestly, if you can really let go of your need to win and you really let go your need to be right, you will have, I would say you can increase your peace by 50 to 80% in your life is my guess. Because a lot of arguments, a lot of conflicts in people's lives are driven by that, the need to win or the need to be right. So if you can really let go of the need to be right, what opens up for you? If there is no right and there is no wrong, and I don't know about you, but the first time I heard that, like there was like this deeply conditioned, moral, kind of driven reality that I created with myself was like, no, we don't want to let go of that. I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be doing things wrong. But in fact, what opened up was it allowed me to look at the areas where things are gray, it's not black and white, and be able to look at them for what they are rather than putting them into boxes or putting them into categories that did not serve me. So I wonder what it could look like for you if you're able to truly let go of your need to be right. Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about this, and it's a practice because when you're used to feeling good about being right, it is actually almost like a neurochemical habit that's happened in your brain already. There's neural circuits where it's like, yep, need to be right. That feels good. Dopamine, need to be right. That feels good. Dopamine. So to undo that the first few times, it's going to feel very unfamiliar, very uncomfortable, and it's going to feel really weird. We get to be okay with it not being comfortable. We get to be okay with it being weird. This is literally breaking the habit of being yourself, which a lot of us grew up thinking, for whatever reason, that needing to be right was important. When in fact, it's been the cause of a lot of conflicts that we don't want, both internally and externally. So what opened up for me, at least, when I really let go of the need to be right, was space to really see the person in front of me instead of trying to judge them into being right or wrong. Space to consider my own beliefs and really kind of, critically thinking like, what if I wasn't right? What other, you know, possibilities are out there for me? What could open up that wasn't available for me before? It really allowed me to look at the world in an abundant way because I was able to now see the world as infinite possibilities. Because if you're looking at things outside of black and white, these two little boxes, there's actually a world out there where there's just so many other possibilities, meanings, opportunities, different things that wasn't available in our peripheral before. Number 9, can you let go of the need to be offended? This goes right along with the need to be right. Because if you feel like someone's making you wrong, or if you feel like someone's doing you wrong, guess what? We have this tendency to feel right about feeling offended, when in fact, the only person that's suffering from that is ourselves. Every time we get offended, the person that's being taken out of flow isn't them, it's you. Every time we're offended, the person that's losing power isn't them, it's you. So if you can let go of the need to be offended, and to actually access that, we get to actually practice being okay with people wanting to do whatever they want to do and not taking that personally. Can you just look at what people are doing and realize that everyone's doing the best that they can? Can you realize that people are just accessing the best available option that they think is available for them in that moment with the given, with the given experience, beliefs, or whatever they have in that moment, energetic availability. That's the best that they're doing in that moment. So if we can let go of the need to be offended, we might actually open up our space to be able to access more compassion, to see them for who they really are, and to see that that human in front of you is actually trying the best that they can. And then what you might start to experience is a sense of ease in your body that wasn't there before. Maybe your jaws, maybe your shoulders will relax. Maybe you can breathe a little bit deeper. And you can just say, okay, everything's fine. I don't need to be offended in this moment. And instead of being offended, this is something that you can try on. What's kind of funny about this situation? What can I learn from this situation? A lot of times the quality of the questions that we're asking is actually the quality of the life that we're creating. So if you can really try on different questions, especially in those moments you know that you can potentially feel triggered, it can actually open up a lot for you. Number 10, can you let go of your need to prove that you're smarter than you are? So this kind of goes along with what we were talking about before, which is like this need to feel superior. Again, remember that every human is created equal. There is no true hierarchy. And for us, when we try to prove that we're smarter, it typically backfires. I recently had a coaching call with one of my clients, and he would put in all these adjectives, like with big, big vocabulary words, to the point it just did not create flow in the way that he was speaking, nor was it was almost confusing for me to understand what he was saying sometimes. And so the whole practice became, hey, what would you say if you were in front of a 5-year-old? What would you say if you were actually just speaking from your heart instead of from your head? And it's interesting because this is like a common human tendency. When people try to do something, try to be something, our subconscious mind doesn't actually enroll into that. What our subconscious mind does, it starts to push away whatever they're trying to force on you. So, in fact, when someone's trying to be smarter than they are and they're trying, and you can really sense that, that's actually going to create this dissonance in our subconscious and our body and our intuitive senses and say, oh, maybe that person is not smart. And that's why they need to try to be smart. Because here's the thing, if you're really smart, you don't need to try. You don't wake up every day and you're like, I want to be human today. I really want to try to be human today. You probably don't because you're already human. Or, my name is Yuri. So I don't wake up and like, I really just want to be Yuri today. I want to try to be Yuri. I want to be more Yuri. I don't do that because I already am Yuri. And there's nothing that I need to try to prove that I'm that one thing because I already am that thing. So when you try too hard to be something, it's going to backfire because then you're actually projecting the fact really, really loud that you're definitely not that thing. And you definitely don't believe that you are that thing. So if you have to prove something, kind of check in with yourself. Why am I needing to prove this? Why am I needing to prove that I'm smarter? What would it feel like to just chill and ease and get into this sense of ease and relax in this moment that I am already enough, that I am already that thing that I'm trying to be? What would that feel like? So with my client today, what we did was well, actually over the last couple of weeks, but he really got it today. And his communication sounded just so much more at ease, so much more relaxed, which actually made him sound so much more powerful and so much more confident and just so much more concise. And so he really got that. And it was such a powerful shift. So I invite you to, scan this in your life. In any area of your life, are you trying to be more of something? Are you trying to be more like spiritual? Are you trying to be more, or are you trying to be smarter? Are you trying to sound cooler or whatever it is? Check in where that's coming from. And then pause and say, well, what would it actually feel like in my body if I were already that thing I'm trying to be? And how much more peace that would bring into my life, into my body. And also knowing that whenever we are relaxed, whenever we are already at peace with ourselves, that creates natural magnetism. So, I hope that was helpful. I haven't been on here in a little bit, and it feels so good to be back here. It feels so good to be back here and to be able to serve you guys, to be able to connect with you guys. So I'll be hopping on here more in the next couple weeks to months. If you guys have any topics that you'd like for me to expand on in the next couple weeks, feel free to comment below. Also, feel free to comment below, what are you taking away from this video? What landed for you? What was powerful for you? What questions do you have? Feel free to comment below. And if you are not already, feel free to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Yuri1C. And right now, and I don't know exactly when you're going to read this or hear this rather, but I am offering 3 clarity calls in the next 7 days. So if you are curious about what I do as a performance coach for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and high achievers, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to schedule something with you on Instagram. So feel free to reach out. Other than that, it is so great to connect with you all. I hope you have a beautiful day. My puppy is actually sleeping right there. Apparently this was not that exciting for her. Anyways, so good to connect with you guys, and I'll be back soon. Have a beautiful day, y'all.